Hello. I wanted to come on spontaneously in the moment in the morning with my face. I usually don't use the phone because I find it's just weird trying to get a good angle. And it's all about the angles. I'm just getting myself some coffee here. Um, and yeah, I wanted to show you my space a bit, all the things that are growing, and I can't exist without fairy lights. And there's the ginger kitty that you can sometimes hear in the background scratching, and he's got 3 legs, but you can't tell right now. Hi. And this is the cat chair. I think they love it because it's so like a carpet basically. And this is Opal. Opal, hi. She is a cat that I am cat sitting right now. So yeah, that's my little patio slash outdoor area. I just kind of leave it wild for the birds this time of year. And I am a collector, so there's this piece right here. I just got out of the old growth forest. It was lying on the ground, and I was like, bird perch. So I like that. And yeah, here's another one of my collections, Whiskas, on this piece that I made, this felted piece. I don't know, I just kind of went with it, and it ended up being this three-dimensional uh, thing. There's a little stash spot in the back. And yeah, so far it's got mushrooms. Oh, this um, little banded conch mushroom I made with Skelly's fur. You can see it in there. And then there's a little ladybug and the little amanitas and these guys. But yeah, what do you do? What do you do when you make stuff like this? Just one thing. These whiskers weren't included. I needed a spot to stick them every time I found one, and then, I kept finding them because that's how it works. This is a piece of birch. What do you call that? Bark? Birch bark. Yeah, birch bark. And this was when I was playing with clay. This is my favorite glaze because it's like little pools of water. Um, I love working with clay, but I don't have the space for it. And yes, little messages of love. And then this one, it's a little globe. There's a bee in there. I got this from Seaside Botanicals. And this was a gift from her as well. Yeah, so I don't know. I do a share. I'm also kind of stalling before I sit down because I'm making more coffee in my little perky perker. Here, this thing. So it's ready. I turn it off. And then yeah, I just add water, hot water. That way it's like espresso style, I guess Canadiano, because I'm Canadian, not American, but Americano. And then this is my mushroom, my 5 powder mushroom, or 5 power mushrooms. I'll show you. There we go. 5 mushroom chocolat. Rich and vibrant heirloom cacao with reishi and more. Yeah, those are the 5 power mushrooms that are really good. So yeah, that's my kitchen area. And then this, oh, where's my coffee? This is my office slash living space. So I've got my office over here. This is where I sit when I'm recording. I got my little tarot station over there. Just put the lamp over there. And this is my office view. This is what I'm usually looking at whenever I'm trying to talk to you and you see me looking everywhere. I'm looking out there into the wild. This is it's a moose horn, and I put it there because I was going to fill it with plants and stuff like that and that thing. But then Mimsy started sitting there, and it's pretty much her perch now, and it's under the awning, so it stays nice and dry. And I'm, to be honest, any plants that I would have put there probably would have died, because unless the nature is watering it regularly, I just might forget, because that happens. I forget. And then I totally killed my grass. I put new sod in, and it was literally like one day I'm like, how did my grass die? And it was funny because I had Opal visiting. And so I was looking back at all the pictures that I'd taken of her, and you can see the grass in the background slowly dying over the month that I had her. Oops, it was me that killed the grass. Anyway, so I usually am wearing my headphones. I live in a complex, and so it kind of helps me to be in my own world and not be distracted by other people's noises and stuff like that, especially when I go into my backyard. If there's neighbors out in their yard or whatever, I'm like, I live in a forest away from the people. Yeah. So one of the things that I did want to talk about was triggers. Um, because I was thinking, I watched my last share video and was just like, wow, I just watched myself, ping pong around and follow random thoughts. And it'd be nice to have kind of like a center point. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, unless you like the random, yeah, I think a little all of the above is what you're going to get. But I was thinking, if I had like on a piece of paper, the thing that I wanted to talk about, and that way when I get off course, I have this visual thing in front of me that is like, this is what we're talking about. And then it made me think about ADHD and ADHD hacks, and how much, I think with a lot of the language that we have access to right now, the idea of triggers, it's kind of got a negative association with it. Like, oh, you triggered me and now I'm emotional and upset, or whatever, which, yes, I mean, but I think triggers are just a mode, right? They're not a negative or a positive. I think you can have positive triggers as well, i.e., so there was a dirty spot on my floor near my sliding glass door, and it was from my three-legged ginger cat. After he goes and digs in the dirt or whatever, when he walks in, he always steps on that one spot, and it was getting dirty and gross. And so I saw it and I was like, clean that spot right now. And so one of my hacks is, when you think of it, do it right away. Like, oh, I'm just going to put this at the bottom of the stairs. The next time I go up the stairs, I'll bring it. Also viable, because it will now act as a trigger. When you go up the stairs, you'll see this thing and it'll remind you to bring it up the stairs. But doing it right away, as soon as you think about it, just take it right upstairs. That also helps. Just do the thing the minute that you think about it. I find the more that I plan to do a thing, the less likely it's going to get done. Yeah, it's like ways of tricking your brain, right? So anyways, but my cat was sitting in front of this dirt spot looking out the window. And so I had the cloth ready and I had the spray bottle, but I didn't want to, disturb him. So I left it in a spot where I knew that that's not where it's supposed to be. So when I see it, it'll trigger me to move it, which will remind me why it's there in the first place, which is to clean the spot. So sure enough, I walk away, get distracted with something else. I notice that, I don't notice anything. I'm doing something else. And then I come back and I'm immediately like, ew, why is this bottle and this cloth right in this spot here? And then, oh yeah, I was going to clean this spot. And I look, sure enough, the cat's gone. Grab the bottle and the cloth, wiped it up, put the bottle and the cloth away. So these are all little, to me, that is a trigger, leaving a trigger for yourself. Yeah, leaving stuff out. I mean, I guess it works best. Like, in order to keep my space organized, everything kind of has its spot, right? And there are areas where it's a free-for-all, don't get me wrong. Where things can pile up and stuff like that. But I have some highly organized areas, like my tea station over there. I like it clean. I like it to look a certain way, right? And so if I were to want to leave myself a trigger, I'd put it blatantly in an area where it's just not supposed to be, so that when I see it, I am reminded to deal with it. And it helps. It's what has helped me. When I do laundry, if I'm done in the laundry room, I close the door. If I'm not done in the laundry room, I leave the door open, and then I am triggered because, so often I'll be folding laundry in there, say. And that's another thing. I fold it right when I'm pulling it out. I'm folding it and putting it in a bin. And that way I don't have this pile that I'm pulling out and then having to find a spot to put it and then pretend that it doesn't exist, right? Which is something that we can do when we're having to deal with a pile. Nobody wants to deal with a pile. A pile of unfolded laundry is the worst. So don't deal with a pile. Just reach in and grab one thing out and deal with that. And then reach in and grab another thing. But yeah, so I was totally folding the laundry, and the cat came in, which reminded me to clean the litter box. So I did that right away. And then, she was so cute. And then I chased her, and does she want outside? Yes, she does. And then, so I let her outside. And then, I've got my headphones, got my music on, and then I'm like doing a little dance. And then I was like, what was I doing? What was I doing before I am doing this thing? And then I noticed that the laundry room door is open. Trigger. Oh, right. I was folding laundry. And then I'm back in there continuing folding the laundry. This kind of thing works for me. So I recommend it. I recommend it for you. Set yourself up to succeed. That's really what it is. And do whatever is necessary to make that happen. And for me, it is triggered. Now, I do come from an upbringing where my mom was very much the same. And so she was my trigger until it was conditioned in me. You know, like her constantly being on me. Pick this up. Don't put that there. La, la, la. And I recognize the ADHD in her, looking back and as I learned it about myself, which kind of, you know, I know that she's undiagnosed and probably isn't even aware of it. But yeah, the more it's making sense. It's making a lot of things make a lot more sense. And like where I'm coming from, where she's coming from, how we got where we got and all that. So yeah, if you are able in your world to give yourself little triggers, it's like it's like Memento. If you've ever seen Memento, those little post-it notes that he left himself were triggers. Now it's not as bad as that as Memento, but it's kind of like that. Leave clues for yourself, little breadcrumbs that bring you back to where you were or what you were doing or what you want to do. And it's a game changer. It's a game changer. It's really helped. It really helps. Although, so I have this trigger because I have a hard time making sure that I'm drinking water and remembering to drink water, which if you're neurodivergent, you know that that's a thing. So my main trigger is when I see a glass, if it's empty, the trigger is to pick it up and either I need a new one. So I always look and see how dirty it is. If I need a new one, it goes into the sink and then I grab a fresh one from the cupboard and fill it with water and drink some and then put it down. So yeah, when I see a glass, it either triggers me to drink water if it's got water in it, or get water if it doesn't have water in it, or wash it because it's dirty. And so that's really helpful until you have your sister move in with you, who takes a glass out of the cupboard, drinks from it, forgets that she has a glass lying around, grabs another glass, gets some water, drinks from it, forgets that she has. So now I walk into a room and suddenly there's glasses everywhere, and it kind of puts me in a moment of like a state of panic or something, because like they're triggering me, but there's so many and it's out of the usual trigger sequence because of the sheer volume of it that I'm like, and so yeah, my son would always be like, where'd my glass go? Because it would be empty or filthy. And so I'd be like, oh, I washed it or something. And he's like, because it was his glass. And I'm like, what's the big deal? Just get a clean one, you know? But annoying for him because the glass that he put down is no longer there. And yeah, now he has to get up and get a new one. But it's not that big of a deal, I think, in my mind, because obviously it was empty. I wouldn't pick up a glass if it wasn't empty. So he had to get up and get more water anyway. So he can just grab a new glass, right? But it's about understanding your needs and the needs of somebody else and seeing how you guys can make things work together. And then if you just can't, then you just can't, you know, and that's fine too. Just as long as you figure it out and nobody's compromising and internally combusting. So there, yeah, I just wanted to pop in and show you a bit of real time me-ness and up in my face, and what I usually do with my headphone situation. I'm usually always wearing, this was a crocheted piece I did a long time ago, but I figured because I wear my headphones all the time, my headphones should be pretty. So yeah, I hope you have a great day. And if you are watching any of my old videos, please, I noticed that you can change the speed on the videos on your end. So I recommend speeding my videos up because they're way more entertaining, and then you don't have to endure some of the slower pauses that my brain makes. I'm very either too fast, too slow, too loud, too quiet, too abrupt, or, you know, I'm all over the place. And that's just how I am. So yeah, but just make it go by faster. Get the same information in less time. Okay. Take care. Have a good one. Love you.